Hey Jenny, ready for another deep dive into the tech world? Today, we're tackling something, well, let's just say it's a bit of a head-scratcher.
Ooh, I love a good head-scratcher. Hit me with it, Mark. What are we dissecting today? My curiosity is officially piqued.
We're talking Apple Intelligence. Or, as some corners of the internet are calling it, Apple Intelligence is terrible at intelligence?
Whoa, spicy title. Okay, I'm intrigued. So is this Apple's big AI play? The one they launched, late last year?
Exactly. Late 2024, iOS 18, iPad OS 18, macOS Sequoia, the whole shebang. It promised writing tools, better Siri, notification summaries, the works. But things haven't exactly gone smoothly.
Uh-oh. Haven't gone smoothly in the tech world usually means something went spectacularly wrong. What happened?
Well, the biggest headline grabber, quite literally, was the AI summary tool. It was supposed to, summarize things. News articles, for example. But it started generating inaccurate headlines.
Oh no, that's not ideal. I can imagine some news outlets weren't too thrilled about that.
You're understating it. The BBC, among others, complained. And Apple pulled the feature, removed it from the operating system. Poof, gone.
Wow, that's a pretty big step back. So it wasn't just a minor bug, it was a fundamental issue with the accuracy?
That's what it seems like. And it's not just the summary tool. There have been reports of other accuracy problems across the board. Jane Hepburn Scott, an investment manager at Aegon Asset Management, even said that Apple's lagging AI capabilities are a key reason their competitive positioning has weakened.
That's a strong statement. So how does this stack up against the competition? I'm thinking Google's Gemini, OpenAI's ChatGPT. Are they facing similar issues, or is Apple really falling behind?
That's the crucial question, right? From what I've gathered, Apple Intelligence times lagging in accuracy and the sheer number of features. Gemini and ChatGPT have had more time in the oven, so to speak. They've been refining their models longer.
But Apple's always been big on the whole ecosystem thing, right? The seamless integration between devices. Doesn't that count for something?
It does. And that's a key point. Apple does excel at ecosystem integration, and they're doubling down on privacy with on-device processing and this private cloud compute thing. So they're prioritizing user data security, which is a big plus.
Okay, so it's a trade-off. Less raw AI power, but more privacy and a smoother experience within the Apple world. But has this impacted their market share? Are people actually switching to other phones because of this?
The numbers are interesting. According to IDC data, Apple's global smartphone market share dropped from 25% to 23% in the last quarter of 2024. That's significant.
Ouch. 2 percentage points might not sound like much, but in that market, it's huge. So who's gaining ground?
The report points to pressure from rivals, particularly Huawei and other Chinese smartphone makers. They're capitalizing on Apple's AI stumbles, it seems.
So it's not just about having the best AI, it's about the asterisk perception of having the best AI and how that affects consumer choices.
Precisely. And that perception is shaped by things like, news articles about inaccurate headlines generated by your AI. It's a PR challenge as much as a technical one.
It makes you wonder, doesn't it? Is Apple's commitment to privacy, which is admirable, ultimately hindering their ability to compete in the AI arms race?
That's the million-dollar question. Because, you see, to train these massive AI models, you typically need, massive amounts of data. And if you're prioritizing privacy, you might be limiting the data you can use.
Right. It's a catch-22. You need data to improve the AI, but you don't want to compromise user privacy by collecting too much data.
So, it becomes a balancing act. Can Apple find innovative ways to improve their AI asterisk without hoovering up everyone's personal information? That's the challenge.
And what about the users? What are they saying? Are they ditching their iPhones in droves, or are they sticking around for the privacy benefits?
From what I've seen on tech forums and social media, it's a mixed bag. People appreciate the privacy focus. That's definitely a selling point for many. But there's also frustration. They see what competitors like Google and OpenAI are doing, and they want that level of functionality too.
So it's a classic case of wanting to have your cake and eat it too. We want powerful AI, but we also want our data to be completely secure. Is that even possible?
That's what Apple is trying to figure out, I think. They're betting on on-device processing and this private cloud compute to be the answer. The idea is to do as much AI magic as possible, times on time the iPhone or Mac itself, without sending sensitive data to the cloud.
So instead of sending your data to a giant server farm somewhere, the AI processing happens right there in your hand?
Exactly. It's like having a mini supercomputer in your pocket, dedicated to AI tasks. But it has limitations. On-device processing is powerful, but it's not as powerful as a massive data center.
So what's the future look like? Is Apple doomed to play second fiddle in the AI world, or can they turn this around?
Well, they're certainly not giving up. They're expected to keep integrating AI across their entire product line. iPhones, Macs, everything. And they're clearly focusing on improving accuracy and adding more features.
It's a long game then. This isn't something they can fix overnight with a single software update.
Right? Gene Munster, a managing partner at Deepwater Asset Management, said the biggest story for 2025 will be the impact of the new Apple Intelligence software on iPhone sales. So all eyes are on them.
It's fascinating, isn't it? It's not just about the technology itself, but also about the strategy, the marketing, the public perception, and ultimately, the user experience.
And the ethical considerations too. The whole debate about AI and privacy, it's a really complex issue with no easy answers.
So the takeaway seems to be, Apple Intelligence is facing some serious growing pains, but they're not out of the game. They're taking a different approach, prioritizing privacy. And it'll be interesting to see if that pays off in the long run.
Exactly. It's a story we'll definitely be keeping an eye on, and I'm sure we'll be revisiting this topic in future episodes as things evolve. Thanks for the chat, Jenny.
Thanks, Mark. Always a pleasure to delve into these tech conundrums with you. And to our listeners, thanks for joining us on this exploration of Apple's AIO adventures. We'll be back next week with more.